it's Monday. One more Monday. I could tie some wings to my back and walk out that door. Or I could fall in that same old trap of being safe and sound and bored. I've been hanging out on this limb so long and I'm so over it. from this dream. And there's no diet plan or hero pill that can restore my self-esteem. There's no fairy freaking godmother, Cinderella pumpkin shoes that'll change my life somehow. There's just me and my best shot, and Nike saying, just do it now. And if I fly, then will I feel the freedom on my skin? What if I close my eyes, trust the wind and just lean in? I'll get there if I dare, if I fly. Oh, it's Monday. Yep, it's still Monday. Now I'm sitting here drinking my cup of joe, reading my horoscope. It says the journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with one small step. And I'm like, hello, I've been sitting on my butt, waiting for exactly what? I just got one life to live, and I could so what if myself till I'm blue in the face. So what if I'm afraid? So what if my heart breaks? So what if I fly? Then will I feel the freedom on my skin? What if I close my eyes, trust the wind and just lean in? I'll get there if I dare, if I fly. Yeah, I'm gonna tie some wings to my back and fly out that door.
I'm gonna fly away.
Ooh, I'm gonna have a little faith,
I'm gonna fly away.
gonna have a little trust. Ooh, if I fly. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for that opening song. I'm grateful that Burns and Kristy are with us today, and also Carla and Keyes will be with us later on in the service. Welcome to this Unity Center of New York City live stream service. I'm Justin Epstein, author of the top-selling book Super You and minister of the Unity Center. We have a wonderful service for you today. The message is Love Begins with You. And we'll also have some great music today. So let's begin with an opening sing-along to get our energy going and to get our mind in that right state for going deep and opening up to the Spirit within us today. We're going to sing, Yes, Lord, Yes. Now, when we sing to your will and to your way, I will trust you and obey, remember that God's will is only for our highest good. So that's in the highest good of others. So it's something really positive that we're saying yes to in our life. So we're going to sing a couple of rounds of Yes, Lord, Yes, and Carla and Keyes will lead us.
Everyone, please join us in singing Yes, Lord, Yes.
I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust you and obey. When your Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust trust you and obey. When your spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust you and obey. When your spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust you and obey. When your spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes.
Thank you, Carla Keyes. And now we're going to have just a few community highlights. I wanted to just encourage you to please like Unity Center on the Facebook page. We appreciate that. When we do that, we are able to reach more people. Also, you realize that you can watch the live stream on the Facebook page, you can watch it on the YouTube page, and you can watch it on the Unity Center website page. But on the Facebook page, if you like it, you'll receive notice of when we go live during the week. And also, you can schedule it on Fridays to notify you when we go live on Sunday mornings. If you click the link, Learn More, on the Facebook page, it will take you to our website page where you can also watch the live stream. And if you put in your email there, you'll begin to receive our weekly newsletter, and you can learn all about what's going on and coming up at Unity. Also, feel free to like my personal Facebook page as well, where the live Facebook posts and other things are displayed there as well. You can also watch the live stream on YouTube. If you go to Justin Epstein, then you can subscribe there, and you'll have access to a bunch of other videos as well, inspirational videos, as well as watch the live stream there. If you go to UnityCenterNYC.com, you can watch the live stream there, and also you can have access to all the weekly posts that we make there as well. So thank you. We appreciate you liking us. And that's all of our community highlights for today. I'd like to take a moment to bless our donations and tithes for today. We call this our prosperity celebration, and we appreciate your support of this ministry, and we appreciate you helping us to get these positive messages out into the world. And I'd like to just take a moment to bless those gifts and those offerings. Jesus the Christ said that as you sow, you reap. And the scriptures say that as we give, we open out a way through which greater abundance flows. And so we give with that awareness. We know that you can give in many different ways in your life, and we appreciate your support of what we're doing. So let's take our gifts now, and we're going to bless them, knowing that divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. Join me in saying that now together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. You can press, if you're on the website, there's a donate button there. And also, if you look in the comments section, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, we guide you in with a link that'll take you to a page where you can donate. You can do it right now, or you can wait till the end of the service. If you'd like to continue to watch while you donate, you can open up a separate window, and you can do both at the same time. Now we're going to prepare for a guided meditation. We can now read about the benefits of meditation. People are meditating in businesses. They're meditating at home. Lots of people are meditating these days. And Unity has been teaching meditation, what they call the silence, entering the silence, for over 100 years now. We feel it's really the essence of prayer. It's a deep form of prayer where you go beyond words and thoughts. And we like to prepare for meditation by singing kind of like a quiet meditative song. It takes our thoughts from the outer world where they are focused much of the day, and we begin to focus on words with music to help us begin to get centered and take that energy into that quiet place within us. So I invite you now to participate in this song, Surely the Presence of the Lord is in this place. And let's do that now.
Okay. Hi there, I'm Terry Burns, and this is Ron Kristy.
Hi. And please sing along with us.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
I invite you now to sit upright as is comfortable for your body. And let's take a nice, long, deep breath. And let go of tension, stress, or strain held in the body. Let's begin at the feet and just send the message, relax and let go. And move your awareness up through the body, relaxing your calves and your thighs, letting your abdomen and stomach relax, relaxing your hands and arms and shoulders. Feel your abdomen and stomach letting go, not holding any tension in that area. Relaxing the muscles in your back, the upper, the middle, the lower back. Becoming aware of your neck, relaxing the front and the back and the sides of your neck. Become aware of your face, relaxing the cheeks, your eyes, your forehead, your nose, your lips and tongue, your ears, relaxing the scalp. And now from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet, letting go, letting go, letting go, and relaxing. Scan your body now and see if there's still some place that needs to relax. You might want to gently tense and relax that part of your body, sending the message, relax and let go. Relax and let go. I'd like you to use the power of your imagination now. And we're going to stir up that love that is inside of us. And I invite you to bring to mind someone you love. This can be someone who's on the planet right now, or it could be someone who is moved to the other side of life, that other dimension. Or it can be a pet. I'd like you to just get a sense for a really loving experience with that person. Feel the love within you as you visualize that person, as you connect with that person. Feel the love radiating within you. And I'd like you to now imagine that love that you feel in your heart. Imagine it as light. See and feel that light radiating forth from you, filling your whole body. Imagine that light is healing and renewing your body. The light of love shining within you. That love is harmonizing all the organs and functions of your body. And feel and know that that light of love is healing your mind and emotions. All love flows from the one source, Spirit. And that love flows through your loved ones and through your heart. So even though it's a memory of an interaction and a connection with a loved one, it's God's love flowing through them and now stirred up within you. For you are created in the image and likeness of God, who is love. So let us bless that loved one if they're here still on the planet Earth, or if they've moved to that other dimension. And we see and sense Spirit's love uplifting them, healing them, guiding and directing them. And we include family and friends in this awareness. We include all those whose names have been submitted to the Unity Center for prayer. knowing that each person is receiving exactly what they need, when they need it. Guidance, healing, prosperity, in whatever form it's needed. And all manner of good. They receive it at the right and perfect time, and in the right and perfect way. And we include the planet Earth, all the animals, all of life, the forests, the rivers, the trees, the oceans, the animals, and the people. We know that each person is a spiritual being having a human experience. That each person is loved by God, and even deeper, is an expression of God. Like a wave is an expression of the ocean. That spirit is the true reality of all form. That there is only God. God is the true essence of all reality. This is our prayer, this is our knowing. And we give thanks for this awareness. And now let us bring our awareness back to the body, perhaps wiggling toes and fingers, becoming aware of your surroundings, and knowing that just taking this time to be still in some way, you have raised your vibration, your consciousness, and you are a greater magnet for good. And you are a greater instrument for the expression of love and healing and peace and joy. And we thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. Amen. Here Comes the Sun. I love that. Gets us in the right mood, doesn't it? I want to share with you a story about a millionaire who lost everything that she had, including her self-respect. And her minister was asking her, "Do you love God?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "No, you really don't, because you're not loving God when you're feeling such self-condemnation toward yourself, because God is in you and God is expressing as you. In order to love God, you've got to love yourself." She thought about that, and she began to have more gentle, more loving attitudes toward herself. And she was able to get back on the right track. She began to feel better about herself. Her self-esteem started to go up, and her business started to take off quite rapidly. I think it's very important for us to recognize that we are valuable as expressions of God, that we are valuable as children of God. In fact, Herbert Barks once said, "Believe it, you're a real find, a joy in someone's heart. You're a jewel, unique and priceless. I don't care how you feel. Believe it. God don't make no junk." And when she got that realization for herself, then life started to take off. So many people are looking outside for things and people to make them happy. And they're looking outside to find someone who will make them happy, to give them love. And I think that is just a mistake in understanding. People can't give us love. They can be loving, but love is not an object. It's not a commodity that you give someone. If we think that love is something we give someone, then there's naturally going to be fear of not having enough love, the love running out. Do they deserve my love? Do I deserve their love? All of that. You see, love is not something someone gives us. Love is inside of us. Love begins with you. Love begins with us. You're created in the image and likeness of God, who the scriptures tell us is love. God is love all the time. And that love is expressing in and as you, like the ocean is expressing as a wave. You live in the ocean of love. The Apostle Paul said, "In God we live and move and have our being." And if God is love, then you and I live and move and have our being in love. So instead of spending so much time, as the old song said, looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces. Instead, we got to start finding that love where it always is, directly inside of us. Love begins in that place within you where spirit is expressing as you, where the love of the universe that holds everything together, that is making the planets move in their orbits, that's causing your heart to beat, your breath to flow, is inside of you. It's been said that we can be in the middle of the desert with no people around anywhere and feel such love that's there. And I know you may know that, but this is a reminder. Or this may be the very first time you've ever heard this. And you might think, well, that is different. Love is inside of me. Yes, you have the ability to feel a sense of joy and well-being and excitement in your life that's independent of whether you have a special someone in your life, independent of how other people treat you. You see, there's nobody who's going to make you happy all the time. That's impossible. There's no one. There's nobody who has ever lived, who has had a relationship where everything was just perfect all the time and someone made them happy all the time. That's just not the way it works. So today I want to talk more about where love begins, which is how do we feel that love and access that love. I love that Elton John song, Feel the Love Tonight. Feel that love. Receive that love that's available inside of you. And the first, I want to share with you 3 big ideas for loving yourself. And the first one is to believe in your innate goodness. That's what the millionaire needed to remember about herself, that she was worthwhile. She was good. And that by accepting that, she was loving God. So many people have been raised to believe that they're somehow flawed, that they're sinners and worms of the dust. Oh my God. I'm so happy that I was raised Jewish and didn't hear any of that. I was raised to believe in the dignity of people and it was okay to feel good about yourself. But many didn't have that. They were raised in guilt and fear and shame. And I believe that if you believe that you're a sinner, if a person believes that they're a sinner, then how can you be any better? I mean, if a person really believes that, how can they be any better? I don't think they can. I mean, it's one thing to mouth it and say, yes, we're all sinners, born in sin, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole nother thing to really believe it. I don't know too many people who really believe that. Or let's take religion out of it. There's people who just don't like themselves. They don't feel good about themselves. They don't believe in the goodness of other people. They don't believe in their own goodness. Maybe they've lost touch with that. I remember in my life losing touch with that. It began to happen when I was in my first romantic relationship. Now, there was a lot that was wonderful about that, but I started to become critical and of her and of myself. I started to, relationships can do that, can't they? They can bring out parts of yourself that you didn't know was there, We start to see that in ourselves and to dislike that about ourselves. I started to see, things I didn't like. And then I began to see it in other people, because we tend to project onto others and the world what we feel inside of ourselves. That's a psychological truism. That's why one of the reasons the master psychologist Jesus said, judge not, judge not. Take the beam out of your own eye before you remove the speck out of your neighbor's. See, if we see what we are. And so many people have lost touch with their innate goodness, and the goodness of others. And it's understandable. There's a lot of evil that we can read about, hear about, stuff that makes us scratch our heads and go, how could somebody do that? Well, they've lost touch with their innate goodness. The book of Genesis says God created man upright, but lo, he has come up with many inventions. We have forgotten who we really are, and consequently we've frustrated that goodness, and it comes out as cynicism, it comes out as hate, it comes out as coldness, it comes out as selfishness. And so I would encourage you to unlearn some of those things that you might have heard your parents tell you. You know, you're such an ungrateful, or you're so self-centered, or whatever it is. I mean, we all have these things in our humanness, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But our essence is good, because our essence is the image of God, and God is good. Genesis says God created man and women, and behold, his creation is very good. That's how God created us. So that means no matter how you feel, no matter how you're behaving, your essence is good. I love what Anne Frank, in the diary of Anne Frank, where she was put in a concentration camp. She ended up, I believe it was pneumonia, dying in the camp. She was famous in the hideout. She was hid for a long time from the Nazis. And they discovered her diary. And right there, I believe at the end, she said something like, despite all the evil that's been done, I still believe that people are good at heart. The news only reports pretty much the things that are out of the ordinary. They're not the regular things. And usually it's negative, let's face it. But there's so much good happening too. There's so much good. I think one of the pluses of this pandemic is people are seeing the goodness in others. I mean, it's also true. It brings out the best in people, and it can bring out the worst in people. We may have seen all of that during this time. But for me, it really has highlighted the goodness. And one of the things to remember is your own goodness. Catch yourself doing something good. Catch yourself smiling, saying a kind thing, going out of your way to give directions or to help someone, or feeling some compassion or concern about somebody. Catch yourself being good, because that's your true nature. That's your true essence. And notice others being good. I really appreciate it. I played golf recently, and yeah, everyone's keeping social distance out there. So grateful that I'm able to do that in this time. It's definitely a luxury. It's a walk in the park. And, I played with some guys recently, and they were just so nice. It was just wonderful to be with people who are respectful and nice, and notice what people are doing. The other day I walked outside and someone, said something kind, and take note of the goodness that people are doing. As I've mentioned before, every night at 7, people applauding the healthcare workers and others risking their lives during this pandemic. And it just moves my heart, because it's just a reminder of the essence of us is good. When there are tragedies, people join together and help out. Most people do. The ones who are in touch with their goodness. The ones who know it feels good to be good, because that's our true nature. It feels good to be happy, because that's our true nature. It feels good to be at peace, because that's our true nature. That's why we do these things, because it feels good, because it's true of who we are. And sometimes, we do it because it's just the right thing to do, and we know it inside of ourselves. And one of the great ideas that I've loved is if you don't feel compassionate, act compassionate. And then you'll begin to feel it. Why? Because it's in you. It's in you. Your essence is good. Believe in your essence as good. And next is to receive God's love. Jeremiah said, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. You are loved all the time. You see, many people have the belief that God is punishing. You know, it's understandable if you read some of the scriptures, and especially the Old Testament, and some people's understanding of the New Testament. It's like God is a big judge in the sky, yet he tells us don't judge, right? Through his emissaries like Jesus. But God loves all the time. Think about it. In fact, the great psychologist, Jesus the Christ, said the sun shines on the just and the unjust. The sun doesn't judge whether you're good or bad or doing good things or bad things. It just shines on you. Gravity holds so-called saint and sinner in their seats. It doesn't say, you're a bad apple, and then all of a sudden that person shoots out to space. That doesn't happen. No. It doesn't matter who you are. If the person cuts their finger, the life energy is going to start to heal it. You see, this idea that people are sinners, they're depraved and all that, that's a belief in separation from God. God is love, and that love is expressing in and as you, and in and as me. And it doesn't play favorites. It's a principle. It's a law, like gravity. If a person steps off a cliff, they're going to fall down. That's the way the law works. 2 + 2 is 4. That's the way the law of math works. God, Spirit, is a principle that is love. And it's always seeking to bless us if we don't make it too hard for it to do so. Through negative thinking, through negative behaviors. You know, if all we're doing is stuffing our face with junk food, then how do we expect health and vitality and energy? It's not God's fault. God is always seeking to express more fully his life, love, wisdom, power, and all good. But people frustrate that from happening. Jesus the Christ said, it's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It's Father's good pleasure to love you, to bless you, to bring good into your life. And it's always seeking to happen. Before I was ever on the spiritual journey, good things were happening. I'm sure for you too. Why? Because I was in tune in some way. And even when we're sort of out of tune, good things happen. Why? Because as the scriptures say, Spirit is in all and through all. As again, Apostle Paul said, nothing can separate you from the love of God. You're never separate. So the key is to know that Spirit's love is right where you are. It's another dimension of you. It's at the center of your being, expressing as you. And when you get still and quiet and open to it, you can feel that inner well-being. You can feel that inner wellspring of peace. You can feel that inner wellspring of joy. You can feel that inner wellspring of God's living, vital energy expressing in and through and as you. It's always there. We just have to lift up the shades. You know, think of a sunny day. If it's real sunny outside, the sun is shining, but you can't feel it if the shades are drawn. You have to lift up the shades. I remember in ministerial school back in 1992 or so, I was thinking about, it suddenly dawned on me that I was blocking the flow of God's love through beating myself up, through putting myself down. And I realized, you know what? That's not necessary. That's not necessary. I can grow through being kind to myself. I can unfold my potential by loving myself. Now, when you hear that term, loving myself, some people feel uncomfortable with it. They're afraid they're going to become arrogant. They're afraid they're going to become stuck up, better than other people. But what really happens is when you feel good about yourself, you project that to other people. When you feel loving to yourself, you feel loving about other people. It's when people feel hateful toward themselves and feel hated by others that they express that hate to others. There's a coldness within them. Why? Because they frustrated God's love at the center of their being. That's where love begins. But if you're blocking it, if we block it, we can't feel it. He said, love your neighbor as yourself. You've got to love yourself before you can love others. You've got to receive God's love within you. You've got to be kind and gentle to yourself. When we make mistakes, when we do things that we regret, when we live less than our best, we've got to love ourselves. I used to think that I had to constantly criticize myself in order to grow. Now I realize that my growth is not my doing. Growth is letting God unfold through and as you. The more you discover your love, the love that's your being, the more you're growing. It's like an acorn with sunshine and water grows to become an oak tree. You are the image of God. You are God being you. And when you love yourself, you just help that seed of the divinity, the Christ within you, the Spirit within you, expressing as you, to unfold. That's what happens. It's effortless. We've got to make the effort to know that truth, to affirm that truth for ourselves. So receive God's love. And then, lastly, accept all parts of yourself. Now, when I say accept, some people don't like that word, accept all parts of yourself. They think that means just live with it. No, I don't mean that. Acknowledge it. Don't resist parts of yourself. Don't repress parts of ourselves. Many people, because they believe that they are their behaviors, they don't want to see certain behaviors. You understand that? You know, it makes sense because they identify with their thoughts and their feelings and their behaviors. So if there's some negative behavior, they're like, I don't want to see that, because then they're afraid of feeling badly about themselves. You see, every one of us really wants to feel good about ourselves. We really do. People avoid taking risks. They are afraid of failure because why? They're going to feel badly about themselves. They're afraid of making mistakes. Why? Because they're going to feel badly about themselves. And what I'm here to say is that you're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings, you're not your behaviors. You are consciousness. You are a spiritual being. You're looking through those eyes. You live in the body, but you're not the body. You have a mind, but you're not the mind. And because of that, you can acknowledge, okay, I had lustful thoughts. Okay, I had angry feelings. Okay, I had sadness. Okay, I was manipulative. Okay, I get that. You know, some psychologists say that we all have elements of the psychopath. We all have elements of the narcissist. And we are all can be manipulative to get our needs met. That doesn't mean you are a narcissist, doesn't mean you are a psychopath, it doesn't mean you are a manipulator, although someone could be. And it's helpful to see that. We're not saying ignore it. In fact, we're saying see it, see what's happening inside of us, and love yourself in the process. And go, okay, I see it, I feel it. Let yourself see it and feel it. And be open and receptive to seeing those parts of yourself that you've tried to avoid. Many people are like an ostrich. They bury their heads in the sand. But when you bury your head in the sand, guess what? A very sensitive part of your body is exposed. We don't want to bury our heads in the sands. We want to know, I'm not my behavior, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my feelings, and therefore I can let myself see my behaviors. I can let myself feel the emotions that emerge and integrate that within myself. This is important because if you reject parts of yourself, guess what happens? You love your neighbor as yourself. You project that onto other people. You know, if you don't like something about someone else, there's a possibility that's something in yourself that you have rejected. That's how it works. That's how it works. So it's important that we are open, at least, to seeing all aspects of ourselves without condemnation, without blame, without getting angry with ourselves. Remember the woman caught in adultery? And in those days, they would stone someone to death. And these men had rocks in their hands. And Jesus said, he who is without sin, let him be the first one to cast a stone. And the joke is, a stone came flying over the men and landed at Jesus' feet. And Jesus exclaimed, "Oh, Ma." Well, the men dropped the stones and they all walked away. And Jesus said to the woman, he said, "Who here has condemned you?" And she said, "No one has." And he said, "And neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." We don't have to condemn ourselves. We don't have to berate ourselves. We're not our behaviors. We're not our feelings. We're not our thoughts. We're not the mind. We're a spiritual being. We're consciousness. Let yourself feel whatever you need to feel and be aware of whatever behaviors are there. So then you can make the effort to do it differently next time, so that we can learn from our mistakes, so that we can apologize and then make the effort to do it differently. Some people get all upset, they get all guilty about what's going on, as if that's doing something. That's not doing anything. That's just expending energy and reinforcing the behavior itself. No, learn from it and then go and sin no more. Make the effort to do it differently. Receive God's love. Love begins with you. It begins really with the source of all love that's expressing in and as you. But we don't want to make it hard to receive that love. We got to be receptive to it. Know where to look. Stop looking outside all the time. That doesn't mean rejecting the love from outside. That triggers the love that's always inside of us. People don't give us love. They create an environment in which we can experience self-love, the love that's our true nature. The coach of the Nebraska women's volleyball team for 21 years had a dream to win the national championships. His friends would rib him saying, "Are you kidding? You'll never win the national championship. Not in Nebraska, an icebox state." Well, in 1995, his team, the women's volleyball team in Nebraska, made it to the semifinals against Michigan State. Now, they had won the first two games, and then Michigan won the last two games and totally romped Nebraska those last two games. So they had the final sudden death game to see who goes to the national championships. Well, Nebraska scored the first points, but after that, Michigan was just tearing them apart. So the Nebraska coach called a timeout. And he could see the girls walking toward him that they had lost their confidence. All hope had gone out of their eyes. They were hopeless, and he felt hopeless. And he didn't know what he was going to say to these girls, but he had to do something. And something bubbled up from within him. And he found himself looking at these girls in the eyes and saying to them, no matter whether you win or lose this game, I just want you to know, I love you very, very much. And he just looked at those girls. And then he went and sat down. And those girls, the other team, Michigan, who were winning, they were moving forward, they were headed to the national championship, they were diagramming their next play and so on. Well, the Nebraska girls, so moved by the coach's words, they were hugging each other, tears were streaming down their face. And there was 30 seconds left in the timeout. And the other girls were diagramming and so on what they were going to do. And the Nebraska girls went out there. Something had been released within them from those words. There was a new hope in their eyes. Their posture was different. They were waiting on that other team with an eagerness and a readiness to go. And that other team made that first serve volley over the net, and Nebraska knocked it back at them. Nebraska scored the 7th point and the 9th point, 10th point, 11th point, 12th point, 13th point, 14th point, 15th point, and they won the game. And they went on to win the national championship. And at an evening banquet, those girls shared that it was those words of their coach that changed everything for them. Girls, whether you win or lose this game, I love you very, very much. And that, my friend, is what God says to you.
This life is sacred, every step, every heartbeat, every breath. Leave life with no regrets. Come join the caravan of love. This life is holy, precious child. Every teardrop, every smile. Come rest your weary head a while here on the caravan of love. Ooh, come just as you are. Ooh, you're a bright, shining star. Every flower, every tree, every you and every me fits together perfectly here on the caravan of love. Ooh, we dance beneath the sun. Ooh, we turn as one. This life is sacred, every step, every heartbeat, every breath. Leave life with no regrets. Come join the caravan of love. Come join the caravan of love.
We dance beneath the sun. We turn as one.
Thank you for that wonderful song, Burns and Kristy. I love that song, Caravan. Yes, let's all join that caravan together and move forward with a greater awareness of love for ourselves, our love for God, and our love for one another. Thank you to Carla and Keyes, and thank you to Burns and Kristy for being with us today and sharing your talents with us to help inspire and motivate us to move forward in our awareness of God's presence in our lives. And I see you doing that. Let's go forth to be kinder and more gentle with ourselves. Let's go forth to embrace God's love for us and to let that love flow from us to other people. You know, you can't run out of that love. It's Spirit's love. That's where love really begins. It begins in Spirit. That's infinite. And it flows and expresses in and as you embrace it and make it easy for that to happen through your own kindness and love for yourself. So let's do that today. And let's bring that with us throughout the week. Let us join together now in affirming the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thanks for joining us for this live stream service, and I hope you will join us next week for another one. And now we're going to sing a closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and let it begin with me. You know, peace on earth can only begin with you. Just like love, peace begins with you. And when all of us are peaceful, then we'll have a peaceful world. But we can't make others be peaceful, especially if we're not peaceful. It starts one person at a time. It starts with you, and it starts with me. So please join us now in singing, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Please join us in singing, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow.